When I did the Rings of Power coverage for the first season, I had people from Amazon reaching out to me afterwards, and people who worked on the show, who currently worked on the show, and fed me all kinds of shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, like behind the scenes. They were like, dude, this is so bad. What were they saying?
Yeah. The stuff I made a video called The Rings of Power, The Making of a Disaster. It came out a couple of years ago. But can
I guess real quick? Again, this is Eli separated from Hollywood for 10 years, better of 10 years, I think 8 years. Chase knows he just came from LA. The level of insanity, just guessing on this, you will see. First off, you cannot, it is so hit with the DEI, and then they will rewrite shit to, it doesn't matter what the mass audience wants. It's like, how do we cater to a specific audience?
I think the key word is new audiences.
The modern audience that doesn't exist.
And then it is catered around that. It is how everyone's hired, how everything has to be handled on set. It is a multi-layered problem, and it doesn't get better any which way. And then if you're outside of that, you will get pushback instantly. Like if you voice a reason, like Henry Cavill for The Witcher, it's like, hey, this isn't how this would go. What the fuck's going on? And then immediate pushback. That's probably what happened the entire time, or what you heard.
Yeah. What did they say?
Yes. So every layer they put on, there's so much more now post-strike, post-COVID, kills creativity. So what I was told by somebody at the time very, very high up was that the marketing that they started the Rings of Power with, that Disney's perfected, because it does relate to the Acolyte, came straight from the top, which was go after the fans. Because when Rings of Power started casting black female dwarves, after telling us they're going to honor the lore, people were just going, Nerdrotic, excuse me, there were no black dwarves. They dwell in mountains, and
Tolkien never explained what female dwarves look like, right?
Other than beards.
That was it.
Which they removed from the once Amazon came out and Disa didn't have a beard, they actually removed it from the Tolkien Gateway, which is like their Wikipedia. They removed it.
You think they would have want women with beards on there?
Well, they did it now.
Well, it's
there was
kind
a lot
of
of fronting for it, but the marketing came from the top, which means it came from Jennifer Salke, which means it comes from Kathleen Kennedy, and a lot of this is used through third-party companies. And it's not used all the time. There's plenty of people out there who just truly support the Acolyte, who can sound pretty loud on Twitter. Same with the Rings of Power. But there's also an argument to be made that wouldn't it be in the company's best interest to hire a third-party company for plausible deniability to drum up what looks like interest? It's toxic positivity is the term now, but drum up a false interest in something where it's easy, on X Twitter. And it makes sense because that's the shit they accused us of back in the day when
it's just bots. When you just troll bots.
Russian bots back in those days. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not gonna pay money for somebody to downvote Captain Marvel. I'll just say it sucks. I don't care if people like it.
You're allowed to like shit that I don't like. That's fine. I just
do not have a different opinion.
Not to get too conspiratorial, but wouldn't it make sense for a giant corporation that pumped $200 million into something to maybe drum up some interest where they know there is none, and they knew at Amazon they were already in trouble with the Rings of Power.
You know what it reminds me of? Genuinely, that marketing strategy. It reminds me of the book "Trust Me, I'm Lying" by Ryan Holiday, where they would they'd put up a poster, I think it was I hope they serve beer in hell. It's objectively, I think, a trash movie if you look on IMDb. But he was part of the marketing campaign, and what they do is they put up a billboard in LA and then deface their own billboard so it would show up in news articles and shit like that. So there's all of a sudden conversation started about it. So you are putting out garbage so that they will throw shit at it and you can throw shit back, and all of a sudden there's discourse. There's actual discourse where there shouldn't be.
And there's still, I guess, a thought amongst the corporations that any press is good press, any discourse is good discourse. Well, with the Rings of Power in particular and Acolyte, the Rings of Power's first season was far more in the zeitgeist. And because the Tolkien fandom was like, fuck no. Hell no.
And that was 1.8 million viewership first week.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then it went down to
they claimed
900.
25 million people watched it worldwide. But by the end, it lost 63% of its audience because
You lift your trigger.
The fuck do you find these people?
yeah, I don't know where they find them either. But like the comment sections, and that's where right around where YouTube had it was because of the White House, by the way, but and maybe Disney, but they got rid of their dislike button.
Yeah.
And then they started deleting comments were like, this thing sucks. So people got smart and they just started saying, oh, my favorite part is when Gandalf said, it's Morbin time. You know, they just started trolling the fucking, and it's been great. And they did it with Acolyte too.
Gandalf saying it's Morbin time.
If
And
you
then
want,
he Gandalfed all
if
over
you
the
want
place.
to have a good laugh, go to the Rings of Power season 1 or Acolyte comment sections on YouTube. It's fucking hilarious. Like people got so creative with that. It's so good. And it was amazing trolling. And they can't stop it. So you can't, they were just automatically deleting certain keywords. So they're just, all right, well, we'll just roll into it and we'll fucking clown you to your face. We don't have to say it sucks. And that's better, you know, and because mockery works, and it led to the Acolyte getting publicly canceled, right?
That should be your next T-shirt. Mockery works.
It does.
That's a really good mockery works. Is a really
It does
good
make somebody
piece of
feel
merch.
foolish, and
That's great.
That's by putting a mirror up to their face. Like, I'm going to use your language against you, and I'm just going to like, these are the things you're telling me. I'm not making anything up. I am just reflecting back what you have told me, that you have prioritized identity politics. You use terms like white passing. I was talking about it in a stream earlier today. Pedro Pascal gets cast in everything because he's white passing. That is somebody I heard from Marvel. That's why he was cast as Reed Richards.
His
And I'm
first name is fucking Pedro.
yeah.
Wait, what's white passing?
What's white passing?
You're
this
white
is a
passing,
term-
Eli.
Oh,
This is a
100%.
term where we can put somebody in that's diverse, but they can still pass as a white guy by replacing a white character. This is how fucking insane they've gotten, right? And they're the ones that, I mean, they brought back, and the media brought back person of color. They're the ones who call people marginalized all the time. We were talking about it earlier. Marginalized people don't know how to use apps. They don't know how to use the phone. They don't know how to use computer. They can listen to how
Me
that
and
fucking
Brandon are
sounds.
just finding out about YouTube. We thankfully
crazy.
have very strong white leaders.
Yeah, exactly. I was able to
that
teach
guide
them.
this.
Yeah. You're
Eli
part
didn't
Mexican.
know what YouTube was.
You could do more than clean my pool, you know?
No, I can't.
Yeah,
You know,
Eli and Brandon came along. I was like, guys, there's this podcast thing. I don't know. You're not going to understand it at first. I'll lead you through it. There's this YouTube thing you guys can get into, and they're like, see,
It's called an app, which is
How
short
do we
for
know the
application.
YouTube? What is the yard? How much space is it? $50.
I can't show. I can't
on your
show.
YouTube. Brandon power washed it.
I can't show my ID to vote because obviously I'm too marginalized
Yes.
to ever figure out how to get a driver's license.